I'm a gambling man, but I think I know who's going to win. Yep, that's what I thought. I won. Well, looks like I'm going to pull the intake off, which is really easy because it's not even bolted down. It's just there for good looks. And let me get the cherry picker hooked up to the motor, get it raised up in the air, and the oil pump and the oil pump pickup, well, obviously that too, was taken from the motor, as well as the original road race oil pan. I am going to use this oil pan in the 57, which just takes a normal one, which is fine. But going to replace the oiling system, get the pump screen fitted, so I have about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom of the oil pan. Probably put a tack weld in there and then install it. Let's get started. So we got the oil pan off, and I put the new oil pump on. It's I believe a M55. That's a high volume pump, and you have to install the pickup tube. So what I do is I put this in a vise. There's probably more than one different way to put the thing in there. It was kind of a pain in the butt today. But anyway, to drive this in, I used a 5/8 wrench on there. See how that fits on there? And you hit it with a hammer, but you obviously want to make sure this thing is on there square and that the pump is not thrashing around while you're doing it. Most importantly, you don't want to tighten it up too much. What I would do is use a couple, 2 blocks of wood in the vise. This way it kind of cushions around it and you're not metal on metal. So I did not adjust it right. I just kind of put it at 0, but you need to measure the depth here. So this is my pan. Yeah, it's still a little dirty, and the pickup goes right in there. So I'm gonna put my wooden Home Depot straight edge across there, and using my super duper tape measure, like just about 7 3/4. So what you want to do is put this on here, and you want to measure from the bottom of this stick to the ridge, and have your adjustment there, and then you'll have this much room and the amount that the gasket will provide. You could measure to the top of this and use the amount of gasket that's going to drive the oil pump down. So you want about, I don't know what they, the manual says, but I always try to get it around an 1/8 inch above the, above the pan. You don't obviously want it sucked up against the pan, because then you're going to have oiling problems, but you also don't want the oil pan too far down, because then you're going to have issues with oiling. So that's about the rule of thumb. And then according to what you get, you could use a big adjustable wrench on here and twist it up or down where you need it. And I always recommend putting a spot weld on there. So that's pretty much it. Let's fast forward a little bit. I got the oil pan on, and scuffed the motor down, masked off all the areas I didn't want paint, and it's primed. Ta-da. Came out good. I mean, I usually use a spray gun on motors, but being this is just a 60s style build, I'm just doing a rattle can job. I mean, it is coming out good. Doesn't mean I'm doing a crappy job at all, just a difference of materials. So, all right, well, we're gonna let her dry for the night and hit it with some orange in the morning, maybe 2 coats, and call this engine color change done. Whoa, look at that. Okay, we're not looking at that right now. So, back on the firewall. What I'm going to be doing right now is Scotch-Briting the firewall after I pull the dummy block out, and I'm going to shoot it with a little bit of satin, black satin paint and satin finish. So I have the bracket mounted for the clutch master, and reluctantly I just had to cut like a little notch in there. What I'm trying to do with this firewall is, as probably stated before, the video is another day old since I started. I'm trying to cut this thing up as minimum as possible. I mean, I think that's gonna be my only cut on the firewall, and like I said, I really didn't want to do that, but that's why we're doing the filler plates that are going to be studded and bolted on. So I'm going to yank this motor out, do some Scotch-Brite with the red Scotch-Brite pad, or brown, whatever you want to call it, and then throw a little satin black on it, and then after that we could, because the chassis is all looking bitchin', we could throw this this beast in there and start getting stuff you know, hooked up and getting ready. I know it's a little bit of cart in front of the horse, but hey, gotta keep it exciting. So we're saying cart before the horse. Yep. Well, I got impatient. I scuffed the firewall and I painted it right around the motor. Good thing the motor's got the 3/4 inch forward mounts. I could pretty much get in there real well with the paint, but once I pull the engine, yeah, if I need to throw a little more paint in there, no problem, it blends fine. So, yep, Kevin got a little excited. Who the heck is this Kevin guy? So, I dug out my clutch parts. I'm fully zoomed in here. Let me fix this. And robbed the flywheel. Nice McLeod billet flywheel. So that'll be a nice little piece for this. And all right, well, we're just gonna continue on and keep checking back in. My tripod's in the other garage, and to be honest, I don't feel like going all the way over there, opening it up, get the dogs all upset because they hear the alarm go off. And it's late. Don't want to wake up the girlfriend. So end of the night here. We got some good stuff done. Got that firewall done, as we said moments ago. I also pulled the headers off so I could be prepared to pull that block out. I put the flywheel on, and found a good clutch and pressure plate that I had boxed away, so that's pretty cool. I threw the distributor in. I was checking length on these NOS Excel Super Stock spark plug wires I wanted to run, so everything should be fine on that. However, on this engine, it's got one breather which is in the front, and that basically deletes the breathers on the valve covers. I mean, you could add them if you want, but what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, because this motor was out of one of my race cars, I want to put it in a discrete area, but I think I'm going to run a crankcase evac system. What that does is that takes the pressure out of the engine, and by drawing the, I guess you'd call it exhaust gases or whatever pressure's building up in the engine, it goes to the through this check valve that has a port that you screw into it with a baloney cut on it, and you put that on your near your collector of your exhaust, and that draws it out. I had to order some of the pieces to replace it because most of the parts went with the race car exhaust. This is the only piece I have left, except for these hoses too. So what I'm going to do is I will, get here, I'll drill the valve cover. First I'll make sure I got enough clearance, and then I'll weld in a dash 10 bung in here, and this will screw on there, and then it will route back to the collector area of the exhaust. So it'll be pretty discreet and but functional. Trying not to get too crazy on this, but I really do like the crankcase evac systems. So we will show you more on that maybe tomorrow or the next day. Actually, well, maybe sometime next week, because I gotta wait for the parts. Almost forgot. I pulled the trans out that I was gonna use out of my little storage area. So I'm gonna use this transmission in the 57. I also installed part of the Ram hydraulic clutch system, which you pull the bolt out down low here, and you put the stud in here, and basically this rides in that stud. And there is a measurement you need to do off the bell housing to install the shims that are required, because you want about an eighth of an inch of clearance between your throwout bearing and your pressure plate diaphragms. This way it's not riding on this and then it'll explode this. So you want about an eighth of an inch from the release, and that's pretty much the standard, I believe they say. So I will do that once I pull the block out of the motor, out of the car there. I'll install the bell housing on this, and then we'll take our measurements and go from there. I will go through the process on that. We go to church. No, it's not a cross. All right, in the last couple seconds of the last video, I said that we're going to go over how to install the hydraulic clutch setup. So I just explained that you need, about an 1/8 inch clearance. So what you need to do is you need to measure from the face of the bell housing where the transmission bolts to, and then you need to measure to the tip of the pressure plate. So what I already did was got this straight edge, and it is to the tip there, and I vice gripped it. So from here to here is the depth that we need to measure. And let me see here. Unprepared for class. There we go. So these are the shims that you could use on the hydraulic bearing. I rarely have to use them when I install them, and actually when I go up to here, it's pretty much right at it. It's actually the tolerance is not 100% correct here because it's tight. Now whether this is gonna work its way in a little bit further, where I feel it may, but obviously I can't put any shims in here and I can't make this any shallower, so this is going to be kind of like a shot in the dark here. So hopefully everything works out okay. If the clutch does slip a little bit, I don't think it's going to, but once the clutch starts wearing down a little bit, this will increase its play between the pressure plate and the clutch, because the clutch will have less material in the that means the diaphragm will start collapsing a little bit. So anyway, I'm pretty sure how that all works. Now not a big expert, but I've done this enough. So right now this is pretty much at zero tolerance, where we should have close to between a 16th and an 8th. All right, well, we're gonna try it out. If this clutch goes up in smoke, at least it was a used one. Another note, not sure, I don't think the directions say, because I was looking for just out of fun here, but when you install these two lines, this top one is the bleeder, okay? And this is the one that goes to the slave. Now, you always want your bleeder up top because air wants to climb. So just take note of that you put your bleeder on the top, not the bottom. And then these stick out right where the clutch fork would have been. And once you install it, you want to make sure that you don't have anything going here. You might want to tie it back a little bit. Okay. All right, so transmission is bolted on. Got the lines ran through the side there. I probably should have filmed it, but just to let you know that the hydraulic bearing, that really the only way to put this thing on is actually put it inside the bell housing with these two lines coming out, and then you want to support the transmission. I used the little stool there, and I scooched it into the input shaft into the hole where the bell housing, and then I slid that hydraulic bearing on there, because you can't fit it into the hole there with it all on the trans. So then I got it all positioned in there, got it in, and then I checked the tolerances through here once it was placed on there, and ain't gonna lie, it's a little tight. So we're gonna have to see how this works out. We're gonna have to see. You know, the only thing, you know, there's you can't do anything. It's just, it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to get off camera right now. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to chain this thing up. Probably should have put the intake on while we was in there. Now I got to figure out how to not destroy this thing. Thank God the heads do have accessory bolt holes. So I'm probably gonna have to do a pretty long chain, and I'll put towel over this. Everything will be fine. So we get the motor hanging, and yes, it's blanketed up pretty good. I don't feel like having it all scratched up too much. So let's get this over here, and the motor should be in this screen in a jiffy. Well, we got the engine in place, but we have to scoot it over a little bit. But I've noticed on the back chain, well, it's hard to see, it's going to be real close to the firewall, so I'm going to have to reposition the chain somehow. I even put a shorter bolt in there, but we're still going to touch. Once I push the motor like that, it's going to go close to the firewall. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get that bolt out. So I'm going to fix that first. We now have it officially bolted in. So the engine is going to stay in this car now for good. We have bolts right there. I do have to get under there and put the transmission bolts on. And then the other thing with these motor mounts, there is a little bit of space between them. So I'm going to get the transmission bolted up first, and to make sure that's secure. And then what I'll do is I will get the crane out and then lift the one corner of the engine, just so the bolt is relieved of some of its pressure. And then what I'll do is I'll put shims, aka washers, in there, because that's all. It's going to need just a couple, good quality washers in there for shim. So, and then that's about it with this, and we're going to start dressing it up. I'm super stoked. I guess a few seconds ago we got the motor in. Couple seconds video time. Now we're deep into the night. Started fitting parts. Some stuff's going to be able to stay on for good, and some of it's going to come off. But we are aiming on trying to put stuff on and keep it on, so we can continue getting this all together. But it's coming out good. Super happy with things so far. Only thing that not too happy with is the I wasn't sure what springs these were. I know they were Tri-5, but I'm kind of thinking they might be big block springs, as I'm a big block, and when I get on the frame and kind of bounce, just the tire squishes. The springs are just sitting there. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. So, because I really don't feel like taking these out and putting the different ones in. It's a bitch on Tri-5s. So, all right. Well, it's gonna wrap it up for tonight. Probably gonna start a whole new video, because next couple days we'll be working on the 36 Plymouth again. So I wanted to utilize my weekend day and get a bunch done on this, and we have. See you on the next one. Hey, and you know what? Please subscribe, like, and share, and hit that little bell so you don't miss any of the new videos that are coming out. Have a good one, guys.
Yep. So after 7 days in Havasu, I could not finish the 90-pack challenge. Still 6 soldiers left. And it's 1 in the morning, which for me on East Coast time, it's really 3 in the morning. Better luck next time.